Janie Barrett. I'm Jamie's mom. I help manage the shop here. I work without pay. And we also run the taxi service here in Chestertown, Chad Cab. We started about 20 years ago with Barrett Transportation Services. Then we had to downsize to the cab.
So where does the cabs, where do they run from?
We do local and long distance
Okay. And how many cars do you have?
right now too.
Okay, great. Yes, sir.
I'm Ellsworth Tolliver. I'm a longtime resident of the neighborhood, and my major interest tonight is to hear more about what mayor and council intend to do to help, number one, foster a climate, a positive economic climate up on this end of town. You always hear a lot of talk about downtown development and what's going to happen down there, but this is an area that needs your attention, and it also is an opportunity for someone who down the road may want to open a business to hear more about the climate that you all hope to instill for those that want to get started. And I'm also here to support my friend Jamie, who cuts my hair.
You need his support.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
My name's Todd Strong. I own Chestertown Lumber. I've owned it since about 6 months for those guys for those planes and those buildings in New York. Prior to that, I owned Rock Hall Lumber for about 11 years. Born and raised in the Rock Hall area, which I'm proud to say. Family's raised in Rock Hall. I, like this gentleman, curious to see, what everybody has to say here tonight, their thoughts, and see what the deal is here. My business is doing okay. It kind of follows the national trends, and
Yeah.
we all know what's been happening the last 4 or 5 years. And in the national scene, it translates down to the local scene, but we're doing okay. We had been doing much better, of course, but a lot of businesses, I think, in that neighborhood have lost a lot of competitors and a lot of suppliers in the last 5 years, but that's the nature of my industry, so.
Have you seen an uptick recently with, the economy's kind of been creeping back up? Have you noticed that on your bottom line at the?
Locally, it's very spotty, but it's been very spotty for us.
Yeah.
For instance, Rock Hall right now is a hot little spot. It's got 2 or 3 jobs going on, which is great for February Rock Hall.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this is not a good time of year.
Right.
Could,
Yes, sir.
is there something that you think or believe that this government, meaning Chestertown, could do to help your business?
Yes, I do. Yes, there is, but I'd rather wait till get done. Something else is here and listen, but I can certainly give you a couple suggestions.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Penny and Ed Kelly from Sears, and we wish the room was going out the door.
Yeah.
And we're introducing ourselves, and the object is we shouldn't be introducing ourselves. Everybody should know everybody. We need everybody as a customer. We depend on each other.
I bought a washer from you. I bought all my appliances. And a riding mower.
And the gentleman before us, I wish I could say we were doing as well.
How long have you guys been?
18 years,
Yeah. Great.
and it's a struggle. Believe me.
Okay. But you guys in the back.
Deborah Lane, and I go to all the council meetings, and so I'm just nosy.
Thank you for your
And
honesty.
that's why I'm here.
Michael Lane, and I am interested in seeing the response from the businesses in C1, considering there was a lot of expression of how they viewed lack of concern on the part of the government in Chestertown, and it seems like they're reciprocating by not showing up here today. So I'm just surprised that you made a lot of effort to get them here, but you just have a sprinkling of businesses.
Well, it's never been done before either, so I'm hopeful that, once the word gets out, we don't have, this doesn't have to be the only time we do this, but yes, I agree. I had no idea there could have been 2 people in here or 102. we're closer to the 2, but we're probably like 20. Anybody else? How about this gentleman in the
My
back?
name's Harold Salverda. I was born and raised out in the state of Washington and spent 50 years in Toledo. And 3 years ago, my wife and I moved to Chestertown, and last Thursday, Jamie said, come join us on Monday night and you can see how we do things out in the eastern part of the world. So, I'm here.
So, I really don't have a tremendous structured agenda. We're really here to listen more than anything, but I'd be happy to ask as many guiding questions as I can to kind of help facilitate a dialogue. And I guess the first one would be, we're a pretty small municipality with generally pretty limited financial resources. I know that some of you expressed that times are tight, and that's totally understandable, and I agree that, we're not immune to national trends. I guess my question for you guys would be, are there things that the government can do, or have there been in the past things that the government has done or that the town can do that does drive business out to this part of town? Because I agree that when people say, hey, I'm going to visit Chestertown, generally they're probably not referring to Kent Plaza. They're probably referring to High Street or the Marina. What, if anything, has the town done or could the town do to encourage people or residents to come out to patronize your shops? Or has there been a time when you were really doing well? And if so, if the government had anything to do with it, let us know so that we can do more of that kind of thing. I don't know, hopefully that will generate some comments. Yes, sir.
I just wanna, if you look at the landscape of Kent County, Chestertown, I was born and raised in Quaker Neck.
Yeah.
Left here in 1963, came back in 2003. And I'm a retiree, and I know this is a retirement community. But in order for businesses to flourish, there has to be some creation of employment opportunities. We graduate, 50 or 60 kids every year, and there's no other than, and it's a service community, basically, service jobs. There's no manufacturing. Since I've been back here about 10 years, and I've seen businesses go out. We had a business out at I guess it was a chicken processing plant left. I think he probably employed about 200-300 people. That's all I've seen of jobs go out of the area, nothing coming in. And I know the town itself can't, but I guess the county, working with the county, are there things in the works to bring more employment? Because until you have people working what I consider full-time jobs, there's a lot of service jobs where people working 20 hours a week. Well, with working 20 hours a week, you really can't support businesses, you really can't garner enough in way of income to provide housing for yourself or anything else. So it seems to me that until we have better opportunities for employment,
Yeah.
that businesses are not going to be supported any more than they are right now. So that's just my view of that, man. I'm looking at how the economy here can grow, and it has to start with creating jobs and full-time jobs and not just service jobs. So I'm just curious as
Do
to
you
how
have
what's
any
going on.
ideas for tools that we could provide as a governing body to facilitate or encourage businesses to come here?
Well, I mean, I know there's, I don't know whether that's part of Kent County or it's part of the town. I guess there's an organization that's supposed to be involved in attracting jobs to this community.
There's a couple things. I mean, the town has a chapter of SCORE, which is, I can never remember what it stands for.
But SCORE provides training, right?
Yes,
That sort of
training,
thing.
advice,
Right.
helping people develop business
Right.
plans. In talking to SCORE, what I've heard from them is that they've had plenty of people in the last several years come to them wanting to start businesses, but nobody's had the capital that they need, the 20 or 30 grand to get the thing started, partly because times are tight. But that's been a stumbling block for them. In terms of tax incentives, I'm still learning on the job a little bit here, but I've looked at the budget and there's not a whole lot of wiggle room within our budget to give more tax breaks to businesses coming in. Partially, one of the challenges that we have is we have a lot of nonprofit organizations that own a lot of land, so our tax base is smaller than maybe it could be. So it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, and that's one of the reasons I want to come talk to you guys. Is if you all have any ideas or suggestions for ways we could recruit more businesses, I'm all ears.
I know you all have heard this over and over again, but what is going on with the development of broadband internet in this area?
I'm going to defer to Bill on that because he's been working on that a lot.
I want to answer, I'll go right to that, but I want to say something, Mr. Washington. A few years ago when the economy shrank, the economy of the county shrank too. They had a full-time economic development
Yes.
type that would go up. And I think what you're talking about is industry.
Yes,
Uh,
industry.
Small businesses are great, they're the backbone of the town, but we've had several large industries that have come and gone. Campbell Soup was one of them, and then it was replaced by another soup company. And we struggle to hold on to our other employers like Bramble and Gillespie and the public jobs that are here. That's what he's talking about our, being 45% tax-free in town. But we're very lucky to be a county seat, and there's loads and loads of jobs there. But we do need more jobs, and we do need to say to the county, now that things are better, can you take that person who's doing economic development and tourism and work that back in? Can we give county tax breaks to industry that might want to locate here? And the question mark in the past has been our workforce. Do we have a committed workforce? We've had some complaints. I don't think we would now because so many people are out of work. But in the past, we had some complaints like for some reason we didn't have a good workforce. I don't know whether you had to develop one or you had to train. We've talked with the college, the community college, Chesapeake, about training employees for jobs like at Dixon. And excuse me if I left out Dixon Valve because they replaced Vita Foods, and we know how important having all those buildings filled with jobs has been. Fiber optic is a very interesting and sort of a trend-setting thing. They utilized ARA funds to bring a trunk line of fiber right down 213, right down Cross Street, and going right across the river to Queen Anne's County to continue on 213. The county got some ancillary grants and wired themselves up to their public works building on 291, up to the jail on Flatland Road, and now there's some last mile things. There's a lot of people interested in having some of that dark fiber or the use of it, and there's a co-op made up of the towns in it, the counties in it, and Verizon, Delmarva Power, Atlantic Broadband, and we need to keep knocking on the door and saying we want some opportunities, not just FiOS TV, sorry Sam, but how can businesses use this to not have to go elsewhere? So it's a really good question, and I think it's up to the new council to maybe talk to the county about how can we use your IT expertise and those grants you go out that only counties can grant, and help us hook up our public safety buildings, meaning our fire company. We have a hard time filling our fire company now, but if younger people could go there and play around on the fiber, which they do at home, be together with their friends and have that high-speed internet access. It all goes together. So I don't know whether that answers your question. It's here. It's here in our vicinity. It's close enough to touch. But you just can't, it's not like taking a driveway off a road. You can't just grab that fiber. It has to be through the college, or it was through the hospital, or through the schools. Now the next thing are the businessmen, the churches. Sorry if I went on too long, but
But the point with that is 5 years ago it wasn't that far along the way. And I guess the hope is that if you want to attract, especially the 21st century business, broadband internet has got to be in